Hello everybody, my name's Music Man and today's video is going to be on how to stay cool and collected in a hunter rank match. But before we get into the content, I would like to present you all with a hypothetical scenario. You're an hour and a half through your current rank session. You're on a 3-match loss streak. How do you break that streak? Now, many of you funny viewers out there might decide to respond to that question with something witty like, get good. But in reality, many of us players get into a rut of once we get into a loss streak, the losses just keep accumulating over and over and over, and we really don't know how to break the streak. As a seasoned veteran player, I would like to present some strategies that other players can use that I have figured out over my course of playing that help me break loss streaks and get back on track whenever I'm not doing very well in a rank session. This video will be structured into many different sections that will be labeled in the chapters in the description, each one containing a specific tip that has been useful to me throughout the course of my IDV career in order to break loss streaks and get back on track when I'm having a rough rank session or I'm just getting really upset at the game. So without further ado, let's get into tip number 1. When feeling upset, take a break. This one strikes to me as being the most obvious choice for a first plan if you're feeling upset at the game or the matches are just not going the way you're really wanting it to. Sometimes I've found for me personally, taking a break, maybe not playing for the rest of the rank session, or something of the like is really what I need to be able to get on track to being able to play better again. Because once you get into one of those like rage-inducing rank sessions, just playing matches over and over again and losing is never going to help you at all to improve at the game. Now, there's really no set time on how long this break has to last. I've had breaks last from just not playing for the rest of a rank session, and that would be just enough to help me. I've had breaks that have lasted multiple days, even a week, or I'm even just coming off of a break of literally like 4 months where I basically quit the game and I'm coming back with a completely fresh mindset. The amount of time that it takes really just depends on your own individual needs, but it's really important that when you go into a rank match, you have the right idea in mind before you go into a rank session. Now with that in mind, let's get into tip number 2. My second tip would be to try playing a different character for the time being. Now this is something that I don't usually talk about too much on any of my streams, but it is something I think about. When I'm in one of my rank sessions, a lot of times what I'll do is if I lose, say, like 2 matches with Mad Eyes during one of my spam rank sessions, I'll switch over to my secondary main, which is currently Violinist. And this is kind of something that I've learned helps me personally. A lot of times picking a hunter, particularly one that has a different play style, will be usually just enough to get me back on track. This could also have a lot of other added benefits besides just regrouping yourself into a new mindset, but it also has the added secondary effect of kind of diversifying your hunter portfolio and being able to play multiple hunters at a high level. Now, I don't believe this video would be complete without addressing the stress factor of this game. I've seen a lot of comments just like on Reddit or YouTube or any of the social media sites that they'll just be like, Music Man, I don't usually get like really rage induced by matches, but a lot of times I'll get stressed out by playing Hunter. It feels like a lot of pressure, you know, it's a 1v4, everything's on me. What can I do to sort of help regroup in that fashion so that I'll be able to play Hunter without feeling super stressed out about it? And this leads me into tip number 3. Keep a positive mental dialogue. This is something that I personally struggled with more on the competitive scene. So kind of my story here is that I was a hunter for the team Arachna, appeared on multiple occasions for the ICL. Sometimes I would get really stressed out because I would only play certain matches for my team. If we needed like certain clutch matches with specific hunters, I would be that kind of hunter. But that was a lot of pressure for me to be playing while there's, like 200 plus players, watching and spectating your matches. And that ended up becoming a stressful thing to me because I was not super confident that I would be able to pull it off against some of like the best teams on the server. And a lot of times I would end up kind of choking at the end of some of those matches, and I would just end up playing terribly. But that ended up kind of affecting me, and so I needed to come up with a strategy for myself that would help when I got into those situations, that I would be able to fix it. And the best I could do for myself was to just make a conscious effort to keep positive thoughts in my head. One that both I'm a capable and worthy hunter of these matches, but also just reminding yourself that it's only a game, nothing more than that. It's not a matter of life and death. It's not like something that's impossibly important that you need to be able to figure out all in one day. It's really just a matter of it's just a game and you should treat it as such. And while I might not have like the normal rank anxiety that I'm sure many of my viewers are experiencing in their matches, it really is like the same type of concept that I would freak out when like kind of all the eyes were on my playing and I was the one that had to perform. I just had a really tough time dealing with that, and eventually I had to kind of mentally disassociate from kind of how big it was in my mind and kind of put things back into perspective. And I personally think that this applies not just to IDV, but anything that involves some semblance of a public performance. So for instance, I myself am a clarinet major. I study at the college level, but at certain times it has been tough for me to get back into getting used to performing again after not performing for 2 years through the quarantines and stuff, and getting back into that performance mindset that I used to be so good at kind of being part of. It just really affected me that I had a really tough time getting back into it. So I really just had to keep positive mental thoughts in my head at the same time that I was trying to do like this very intense technical musical performance. And it's really just something that takes time. It's something that, it really takes a lifetime to learn to be able to know how to do. It's a very, very tough skill, and so I'd like to encourage you all to be patient with yourselves. Don't just say that you can't be a hunter main because you feel this sort of anxiety associated with that. And to a certain extent, everybody gets this sort of anxiety with one thing or another. It's really just we all get into our own heads when it comes to stuff that is kind of like mentally stimulating, but we're also working in a public performance, whether that be public speaking or public performance, or playing as a hunter in a video game in a 1 versus 4 setup. It's really just that whole mindset can be really difficult as people to really get used to. And that leads me to my next tip, which is to give yourself the amount of time you need to be able to improve. This is something that I myself have noticed that modern society is starting to move into a transitioning way of sort of discouraging this type of mentality of really just giving yourself the amount of time that you need to improve at what you want to do. Everything is nowadays kind of in the here and now, and it's all about what you can do in the moment, but all this type of stuff that we're talking about here when it comes to public performing and these types of ideals, it really does take time to be able to learn how to do, and a generation that's growing with increasingly less and less patience. Now, this is me adding a lot of my own opinions, but let's be real, if you clicked on this video, you're looking for my honest opinion, so this is really what I believe, that this game requires a lot of patience, giving yourself the time you need to improve. and just a firm understanding that you're only human. It's going to take you a lot of time, and you're bound to fail multiple times before you're able to succeed. And I really do think that society has kind of moved into this sort of perfectionist mentality that you have to be able to kind of do everything all at once. I mean, if you're in school, you have to be able to get all of these assignments done on time when you have all this other stuff going on, possibly in your personal life. And there's just so much that's expected of you at any moment. And it's really just kind of the thing that you have to put yourself in a position where you can just let it go. And while all the aforementioned things that I've brought up are extremely important, you have to be able to give yourself forgiveness whenever you don't measure up. I think this one very much will click to my Survivor main viewers out there because, I mean, you know, post-match chat, everybody is always slamming on other people on how they did in the match. I mean, you can see it in the post-chat. Usually in a rank session, you get 1 or 2 matches where a survivor will just get absolutely trashed on in a post-match, and it's just really something that you have to be able to let it go. I mean, not everybody is going to be happy with the way that you play in every single one of your matches, but you have to find that sort of balance where you can take both, one, take constructive criticism, but two, you can also give yourself a little leeway as you're doing your best. And one last final tip that I would like to give is to never give up. Learning how to play IDV, I know, can be a very stressful and/or upsetting process, but I promise you all, if you put in the time and effort to really learn the ins and outs of this game, it really does truly get better. For all of you new and upcoming hunters and survivors up there, I'm just, from here where I am, I'm just sending you all good vibes just to learn the best that you can, and I hope you all will be able to be top tier hunters in the future if that's what you desire. So to sum up everything that we've talked about the importance of taking breaks. We've talked about how switching characters could possibly help with any sort of stress-related factors. We've talked about keeping positive mental thoughts throughout the course of playing the game. We've talked about that players need to be able to be patient with themselves. And finally, we've talked about never giving up on improvement. Now, as we conclude this video, I do have an announcement that I would like to make. I'm going to be attempting to return back as a commentator MC for the ICL, the IdentityV Community League. That's something that I'm really excited about. I did do a little bit of commentating before, but it has been a very long time since I've done that, and I would like to come back onto the commentating scene. So that's something that we'll be very excited to look forward to in coming months on this channel. Now, that just about concludes my video. If you found it helpful and informative, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And don't forget to leave a comment section in the comment section below. Either if you liked it or if you have any questions or anything, I'll try to respond back to as many of the comments as I can. But yeah, just thank you all so much for watching. Now we are on our way to 1K subs, and once we hit that milestone of ours, I will be doing a Q&A video, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel for that. Also, don't forget to show up to any streams if you see that I'm streaming on YouTube. I would love it if you all would say hello, and I think that just about covers everything. Bye everybody. I will see you all next time.